Hello everybody, this is Llodg, and today I want to talk about how I am optimistically excited for the new LEGO Batman game. Now, I really don't talk about LEGO games too much on this channel. I guess I've made a whole video talking about LEGO Star Wars, but the first two LEGO Batman games are some of my favorite games of all time. I played them a ton when they originally came out on the Wii, so to finally have a new LEGO Batman game is pretty exciting to me. Now, unlike those games, this one seems to be kind of tying into the movies. It seems like it'll bring in a lot of elements from the movies, but not necessarily be one of those LEGO games that's a one-to-one recreation, like the Avengers games or even the Star Wars games, where this will be its own story, but there's going to be moments from the Nolan trilogy or whatever. So it is a little weird in my opinion that they are kind of doing this middle ground, but I understand it and it can make for a lot of cool moments in this LEGO game. And that isn't necessarily the part I'm cautious about with this game. The thing that I am cautious about with this game is that the last game that the developers made, TT Games, was the LEGO Star Wars Skywalker Saga game. Now, me and a lot of people were really excited for this game. Complete Saga is one of the best Star Wars games ever, so there was a lot of potential for the Skywalker Saga to be amazing, and I think it just fell flat for a lot of people. And I think the main criticism of it is that the levels themselves didn't live up to the original games. And from the few trailers I have seen from the LEGO Batman game, it does look similar to the Skywalker Saga because I'm assuming they're using the same engine or whatever, but I think the main issue with the Skywalker Saga for me personally was that there was a lot of walking around in environments that didn't really have very much for you to do. They didn't really feel like handcrafted levels in the way that LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga did. And while I think it was a fine game overall, I just think there was a lot of almost downtime in that LEGO Star Wars game, to where it didn't feel as fun of the game as the original Complete Saga did. And this LEGO Batman game doesn't really have the potential for those one-to-one comparisons like we do with the Complete Saga, because this is its own story. It isn't trying to recreate LEGO Batman and LEGO Batman 2. But I am worried about how the gameplay will feel from moment to moment. I'm sure it'll be fine because they have this new combat system that looks reminiscent to the Arkham games, which is really cool. I'm sure this game won't be as in-depth as the Arkham games, but it will be cool to see a more simple version of the Arkham combat in a LEGO game. And yeah, and I think the only other thing is I hope the combat is fun enough, for bosses especially. Skywalker Saga, a lot of the bosses just kind of blended together because their gameplay was very similar, and I'd love to throw in some puzzles into the bosses just to make them a little bit different from each other, make it so you're not just attacking them over and over again. But the combat itself I don't think is too worrying for me, but it's just the exploration, and I think LEGO Batman does miss a pitfall that Skywalker Saga could, because the Skywalker Saga has so many planets, had so many environments for you to go to where they probably didn't have a ton of time to make sure each planet was the best it could be, because they needed Tatooine, they need Coruscant, they need all these others. But LEGO Batman is only going to have Gotham, so there isn't that much of a variety that they need to do. They just need to make Gotham feel good. And it's why I like LEGO Batman 2 a lot more than Batman 3, because Batman 3 had all these different planets you could go to, and they all just felt so empty. But LEGO Batman 2's Gotham felt really fun, and maybe because it's the first open world game I'd really played, but it just felt fun to drive around in, play as all the different heroes and villains, and it's the only main comparison within LEGO Batman 2 and this new one that I can see. But I'm hoping that they get the open world down to where if I go back to LEGO Batman 2, I'll be oh, I can never go back to this game because the open world just isn't as good. But we'll see. Yeah, I just hope that they get the open world down to a T. This game is planned to release next year. No specific date, but it is a little sooner. Skywalker Saga did get delayed a lot, so hopefully this won't happen to the Batman game. Other than that, I don't really have too much to base this game off of. I'm assuming we won't get other heroes like we did in LEGO Batman 2, new Superman or whatever. I guess they could take moments from the DCEU with the Snyder Cut or whatever, which I think could be cool depending on what they do. The Snyder films aren't my favorite Batman stuff in the world, so I won't be disappointed if we don't see any of that. But I could see him just not including it because as Superman, Wonder Woman, all these other characters, and they want this to just be a Batman game. But I wouldn't be opposed to seeing Superman or whatever. I think Superman and Batman can work really well together, and I'd love a game where Superman pops in every once in a while, you know? Also, in the trailer, they showed off just Batman himself, and I'm curious if Robin or whatever will show up, because in the Nolan trilogy, you don't have Robin there, and I'm curious what they'll do for player 2, if it'll just be oh, Alfred, you can play as Alfred in this moment, or oh, you can play as Catwoman, or whatever, or if they will just throw in Robin to where he can do different stuff, or whatever, because this isn't necessarily the Nolan trilogy. Yeah, overall, there isn't too much for me to base this game off of. I'm sure there'll be information coming out within the next year to where we get a better idea what this game will be, but I just hope it's a fun LEGO game. I just hope TT Games can make a great game, and I can't wait to see more of it. Let me know what you think of the new LEGO Batman game, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good day, and goodbye.